Hello, everyone. My name is Davey McNally, and I am the chair of the Athens City Commission on Disabilities. This is the Athens City Commission on Disabilities May 19th, 2021 meeting. We're starting at 5:01, and I'll go ahead and call us to order. Hello, everyone. It's a beautiful day. I guess if you really like hot weather, it's a beautiful day, which I do. I love hot weather. So what we'll do first, go ahead and establish a quorum with Diane.
Sure. Diane Bouvier. So I'm going to read names and just say yes or hold your hand up. Me, Rose Dekas.
Yes.
And Claire Geisigum.
Yes.
Samora Dower. Carolyn Lewis is out today. Sly Mata. Davey McNally.
Here.
Cheryl Prasinski. She's not out here either, right? Lisa Simpson.
Yes.
Cheryl said she wasn't able to make it.
Okay. Lisa Simpson, yes. Arian Smedley.
Here.
J.W. Smith.
Present.
And Noah Tremblay.
Yeah.
So we do have a quorum. I think we have 8. 1, 2, 3.
Well, Sly has joined us too. So.
7, 8, 9. We have 9.
Excellent.
And I see Sly has joined us as well, I think.
Oh, good. Great. Welcome, Sly.
Oh, hello.
You got your full name down. Oh, I have my full name down as well. I better rename myself. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over at this point to Samora to read our mission. Go right ahead.
All right. Well, the Athens City Commission on Disabilities is a committee of city government whose commitment is to provide a means for the concerns of people with disabilities to be heard, to advocate for the public policy change, to provide expertise to the community on disabilities, and tell the community about the strength and limitations of people with disabilities, as well as how the community can help them improve their quality of life, thereby ensuring equality of opportunity and full participation in community life for everyone.
Thank you very much, Samora. I appreciate it. Good to see you. I think I haven't seen you in a while, so good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Thanks, Davey.
Awesome. And then our next order of business is to go ahead and approve our April minutes. Is there any discussion or clarifications that need to be made before we have a motion? Hearing no discussion.
I move we approve. Oh.
We have a motion to approve by Rose. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second. If everyone could approve by raising your hand, saying aye.
Aye.
All right, I think
Aye.
that's unanimous, so we do not need to do the rest of it. We will go ahead and move down into committee reports. We have the Mayor, Steve Patterson, joining us, and so we have the majority of the meeting devoted to that. We have asked committee reports to be a little bit more brief during this meeting so that we have plenty of time to talk with the mayor about disability priorities in the city. So we're going to go ahead and move down into the executive report now. And Carolyn was going to run this meeting, but she's not feeling well. So I am taking, well, she was taking it from me, so I can take it back and she can get me another time. So we had our exec team meeting on April 23rd. We worked a lot on the upcoming agenda, and we talked a lot about meeting with the the mayor's staff coming up on the 24th. So we actually met again on the 17th just to talk about what all we want to present and get a PowerPoint together, really talk about to all the heads of staff for the city about what everyone's doing here on this commission, and then to make asks to ask for what we want to get done, including some additional training, including training about the ADA, having accessibility and the ADA as a goal in everyone's annual report. So those are some things that we're going to be asking for. We're also encouraging every committee to have a chair and a vice chair. I think we're about like half and half right now. So as people learn and grow onto the committees, if you're able to take on a co-chair, I think it's great to kind of be able to bounce back and forth the committee assignments. We had a few people who were interested after a walk and roll event, so we're trying to help those people get connected into committees for this upcoming month of June. Otherwise, I think that finishes off our executive report. Any questions on that? Okay, great. Well, we'll just keep moving right along. I don't see the mayor here yet. So we're going to go ahead and go on to accessibility, and Noah Tremblay is going to do that report for us tonight. Well, but I don't see Noah.
Oh, sure.
I think the camera might have fallen. Noah, do you want us to skip ahead and come back to you? Okay, there we go. There's Noah. Noah, are you ready for the accessibility report?
And just unplug
it. Should we come back to Noah, or Noah, should we come back to you? We will come back to Noah. Let's go ahead and move down into advocacy. Go right ahead, Sly.
All right, everybody. So last week, it seems like last week, but I'm losing track of my days here. But we were fortunate through the hard work of JW to have a guest speaker. We had Allison McKay, she's an attorney with the Disability Rights of Ohio, to really come in and spend a great amount of time, about 45 minutes, to discuss the work that she's doing, the work that her organization is doing, and different ways of collaboration. We're going to continue this trend of inviting guest speakers to really see how our committee may be able to work with others.
Okay, great. Any questions about Sly's report for advocacy?
I have one.
Go right ahead, Diane.
Sly, I was really interested in it. What kinds of things, did she say anything that you think our committee would be interested in, our commission?
She said a whole lot. And I want to, appreciate Dr. Lewis. She took our minutes for us, and it's not what she herself is doing, but the collaborations that she has with other individuals and other organizations overall as well. Many questions that we posed to her, it wasn't questions that she was able to answer, but then she would say, I would love to link you to this association, to this organization. And so we're still following up with her to get a list of all the organizations that she listed during the meeting, so we can provide those to the rest of the commission as well.
Great, thanks.
Great. Yeah, I think that this is Davey. I think it's really great how you're bringing people in, and then we can use that as a springboard to be more knowledgeable about what's happening and start to really advocate for certain policies in the city and elsewhere as well. So thanks for leading that, Sly. I think sounds like it's going great. I'm gonna have to read through the minutes a little bit more closely to and kind of get a sense of what all was said. Let me head back to the agenda here. Our next report would be from communications, and Claire, I think Claire Geisegum is providing it to us this time.
Yes. So I have, in regards to new business, the only thing we really discussed was publicizing the oral history project, which is being spearheaded by Education and Outreach. And I had this thought to create like maybe 60-second clips of the oral history just to try to make it a little bit more digestible for wider audiences and any presentations that we do. So that sparked a discussion about a commission video. A video about the work of the commission, you know, everything that we're trying to accomplish, what's going on in the city and the various committees. So it's something that I think could be very beneficial, especially with us being on the speaker circuit. So if you have any ideas or something that you really want to make sure is featured or comes across in this video, just send me a message and let me know. I want to make sure that I pre-produce it as much as possible, just to make it easier on everyone. And then our Athens Ability column was published on May 12th, and it was penned by Davey, which it was excellent. And so we're looking ahead for June. We're hoping that the next topic could be, you know, with it being June 2021, taking a look on the last year in regards to racial justice, and hopefully being able to describe the intersection of racial justice with disability justice. I'm willing to explore this topic myself, but I would really want to make sure that I afford everyone or anyone who's interested the opportunity to cover this topic if they want to. So those are the most important things I think that we discussed. So yeah, that's all I have for right now. But in regards to the Athens Ability column, I wasn't sure if anyone had any immediate thoughts, but we can also discuss via email as well.
Well, can I say something? I think it's wonderful. I mean, I think we're getting probably 90% more attention to the commission by having a little clip on the front page of the paper and then, you know, having a story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Claire, this is JW. I think you're right about the tone for June with Juneteenth, and there's going to be a Black Summit #2 focusing on that. I think it's on Juneteenth. So if I can help in any way with that next column, let me know.
Yes, I will. Yeah, I will. Actually, I'll touch base via email. I might not get to it this evening, but I'll be in touch tomorrow for sure.
That's fine.
Yeah, this is Davey. That sounds great. If JW and Claire, like, if you wanted to tag team on that would be great. And oh yeah, my kids were impressed that my picture was in the newspaper too with that disability column.
They'll get over that soon enough once they see it all.
Here's how you know that they're impressed when they clip it out and send it to your grandma, right?
That's pretty spooky. Whew, mercy.
Yeah, thank you very much for that report, Claire. Any questions or further comments on communications? Okay, there being none, let's go ahead and move over. Noah, are you ready?
Oops, I forgot I was supposed to do the report tonight.
Would you like for Diane and I to take the lead on it? All right. You start, Diane, and then I'll finish with what I have.
So mostly what we talked about was this was the first meeting since the walk and roll. So we went through how each of us thought it went and then came up with some ideas for how to make it better. But I think the main gist is that we did a lot of planning, and we also included every member of our committee. And we thought that the communications committee really helped us to get the word out. So it felt like a really good team effort.
Yeah, I see in our notes, this is Davey, I see in our notes, not just great work by the communications committee, but superb work by the communications committee. Yeah, just really great job of getting the word out. And also just all of our tech stuff just worked really, really a lot. You know, it seemed really professional, like we knew what we were doing. Some other things that we're working on is putting together, one of the things that we really noted is how important it would be for businesses to have signs in the front of their store or business to describe how to get in, who to contact for accommodations, and to start working on a template to be able to do that. So I think what the plan is for me to just kind of get it as far as I can, and then send it with one of the communications committee forms over to the communication committee. You have much better technical skills than me to maybe put together some sign options. We're also working and getting in touch with the Chamber of Commerce to try and come to one of the next meetings to talk about accessibility and get assistance in distributing information, especially in terms of the Department of Justice's readily accessible barrier removal, to just disseminate that information as much as possible. And we're going to pilot it with the Uptown Business Association Committee, the Chamber of Commerce. Next month, we're going to be meeting with Jessica A. Dean about some additional streetscaping projects and follow up on the construction to try and clarify like how to make that better. And finally, we're trying to get in touch. We've sent some emails to David Riggs in the code office. We haven't heard back yet about setting up a meeting for either next month or the month after. We should talk about before we throw it to education and outreach, Diane?
Missed it. I missed what you said. Do you want me to?
Is there anything else that we missed before we throw it over to education and outreach?
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. And we have talked about actually also doing an assessment of the West State Side Parks area. And I know you had brought it up at one point. So we're thinking about August for doing that.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, this is JW. I have a comment that I just thought about, and I think the mayor and I talked about this briefly at some point, but I know it's come up somewhere. But I've been struck, no pun intended, by the increased number of businesses with the outside dining now, the tables and the chairs and all of that. I don't, with proper cane skills, it's not a huge issue, but I have been surprised by some of that. And I don't know what we could do about that. I guess I expect during this pandemic time that it's the thing now to put out chairs and tables and have outside dining options. but it does create a number of travel issues for those who are blind and visually impaired. Not everybody uses a cane. I mean, they should, or even a dog. But if someone came to town here without that help, a lot of those outside tables and chairs would be a real big issue. So I don't even know how to address it, but I just wanted to raise it as Diane was talking. Because I know it's come up before, but now it's a real big issue now. I was walking down Union and somebody had a couple chairs outside of, right outside the pizza place there. And so you add that to the people putting their clothes out and outside shopping. It can be quite interesting sometimes walking up and down Court Street.
Yeah,
I think the word that comes to mind is we should emphasize the word obstacle, because that really captures everything you're talking about. Is what are the obstacles for a person who's disabled in dealing with the outside of Athens,
I just don't know of any proper way to, warn people. So I don't know. I keep thinking about that because I know it's probably only going to increase.
I think Diane might have some thoughts on that.
JW, how would it be if we asked businesses to put a barrier up to identify the area around?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought about that. I thought about a rope or something, but I don't know aesthetically how that would work, or I don't know. Because a barrier might create another barrier.
Right.
So I don't know.
Well, I was thinking like a perimeter, something along the perimeter.
Good idea.
Like
to not walk into chairs or tables.
What could you do? I mean, anything you put up would be another barrier.
This is Davey. I think one thing we talked about in the accessibility committee, and I think this had to come from you at some point, JW, is to just systematize, how people do it. So if there's going to be like tables and chairs, if there's going to be benches,
right.
There's going to be various other things that they're done in a routine way. So it's either on the right side of the
Put them in the same place. That's right.
Or the left side of the sidewalk, so that people know what to expect. They know that.
But when people eat and stuff and they leave chairs out and stuff, they can't always control that. So.
Yeah, this is Davey. That's very true.
Sorry, Davey. Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that we can also put on the agenda when we talk to the Uptown Business Association.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's a great idea.
Just to retrain staff, because you're right, user error is a major issue. If someone puts out a chair,
just leave a chair out. Right.
Someone could get hurt. Absolutely. Thanks for.
I've been surprised by a few of those. I was like, whoa, that was not there yesterday.
Right.
Any other discussion about accessibility before we move on to education and outreach? Okay, we will move on into education and outreach. And I told Carolyn I would take her parts, but
do you want me to do that one?
Do you want to take that one?
Sure.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
So this is Diane for Carolyn Lewis. She sent us a note saying Barry Dilley is working with Luke Hawk on the new Athena Award.
Right.
And the committee will start promoting in June for award recipients and nominations for award applications. And that they're going to be working with different entities such as the Athens Public Library to have sessions about the commission and exhibits. And that the next oral history is going to be with former Mayor Abel. And that was her committee report.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Anyone from the committee have anything else?
I think you covered it all.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you did.
Great.
We're going to go ahead and move into our special guest speaker for today, who is Mayor Steve Patterson, coming in live from his kitchen.
I'm hungry, so good Lord.
So I think I think everyone knows.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Live from my kitchen. And before the master chef starts cooking, which is not me, thanks for asking me to attend. I was thinking that maybe the best approach for this is not for me to slip into professor mode and lecture to everybody, but instead open up the floor and let you guys ask questions of me of things going on in the city. I was listening to Dr. Smith and JW, the issue that you just raised is an interesting one, and not to start with me asking a question, but I'm going to. Are there apps out there for individuals that are, visually impaired or blind, to where the app can be loaded with businesses that may have tables out front, so that there's something?
I don't know if they're that specific. They certainly could give you walking directions, say to Brennan's. And then there's the app, the Seeing Eye app that can see a lot. But I've not tried it to see if it can tell you that. It'll be interesting to check out.
Yeah, I mean, if there was such a thing, or maybe we could create something to where it's just information that can get out there, that at these addresses or locations, or a third of the way down Court Street between Union and Washington Street, there is, a table, outdoor dining tables up against the facade of the building.
Right.
And typically the buildings, the retailers or the restaurants or the whatever that have tables out front, they, by code, it cannot extend further than 5 feet out from the facade of the building. So it's always going to be up against the building.
Okay.
So maybe there's a way forward. And the other thing that might be smart for the city to do is to make sure we're putting out frequent information on street sales. I mean, on occasion we do that. We allow for businesses, say, Ohio is home. You can put your wares, out. And even that, I think we can probably do a better job, JW, in that you can't randomly place them. It's got to be within so many feet of the facade. The sidewalks, by the way, are 11 feet wide. And so I think there's.
Wait, not 11 feet.
11 feet wide. Yeah.
Sidewalks?
The sidewalks. Yeah, the sidewalks are pretty wide, which is interesting. When you get onto West Washington between Court and Congress, at least the north side is very wide. We extended it 4 more feet out.
Wow.
But anyway, I think that I think your comment is really, I'm taking that to heart, and I'm thinking, okay, what can we do to correct that? And I think it's something certainly to bring forward to a UBA, and have the Uptown Business Association know, and as Davey just indicated, that it would be good for them to hear.
Right.
I will share this with you. We get some really interesting requests at the code office. The most recent one was a request for an ATM machine to be reinstalled at 50 South Court Street. 50 South Court Street is the College Bookstore. And some of you may remember that there was an ATM there for a while. And so the leasee of that area that the ATM sat in before approached code and said, we would like to reinstall a ADA ATM there.
Right.
And here's our plan. And their plan was basically to build a ramp that extended almost 6 feet out into the sidewalk. And we rejected it because there are other options to where an ATM is ADA accessible just based upon, multiple controls and the height. Because to your point, JW, we looked at this and we were thinking, here's a major, mobility hazard that's going to be built into the sidewalk the way that they've designed it.
Yeah.
And there are easier options to do this. At the end of the day, the ATM company said, we're just not going to put one in. I have a sneaking suspicion they knew that and they just wanted to possibly get out of their lease with the college bookstore. But it's from my vantage point, I'm even what appears to be a good intention can also create other problems for people when it comes to mobility. And that location where they were putting it was tight anyway, because at the curb there was I don't know if it was a telephone pole. There was a couple things that were there that just a tree pit is what it was. And so there was other things that were there. And it's like, now you're making this even narrower if you're going to build this thing 6 feet out and you only got so much room on the other side. And it was odd. So, and again, they had the room to be able to build or put in an ATM machine that was, 36 inches off of the sidewalk, height wise, as well as controls to where, someone who's taller could, have the keypad and be able to punch in and do their banking at the ATM. I'm going to stop. I'm going to hit pause. I'd like for you guys to ask questions of me instead of me kind of talking through, because I can yammer on and on and on. You don't want to hear that.
One question that we have as well that this is Davey, sorry. One question that we have as well is whenever we went over what we're going to talk about with the mayor's staff on Monday next week, we went through, we knew what we wanted to talk about with accessibility, ADA, and training. But in terms of working with city services, in terms of working with police to fire department, parks and rec, if there's any other questions that you have for the mayor or for us to bring to that committee.
This is JW. I'm not sure I have a question, but I want to give it. I was going to leave you a voicemail message, Mr. Mayor, but I saw your city council meeting. I think it was May 3rd, and you, I think, very persuasively and adroitly addressed the issue of what the city has done in terms of racial equity and social justice. I don't know what you've done with that, but I really think if you haven't put that in the paper somewhere or that whole list, I think that should really be promoted. But I think along those lines too, if the city has done things for issues of accessibility, you need to promote that as well and be more proactive with it.
Did I freeze? Oh, there I am. I'm back. JW, thank you. Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all that I think our work on all the fronts, but Disabilities Commission, absolutely. I think that needs to go out there. Davey had a great article that came out, I think. It was an op-ed or something that was in the paper recently. Right. That was wonderful. And I would be more than happy to do a joint op-ed or something to the newspaper with the Commission on Disabilities and me, and that these are things that we have done. These are things that we need to do. And right. JW, I got to tell you, my friend, in the back of my mind is still your words of you need to put audible crosswalks in.
I know.
No, and we do, and it's part of the plan. For me, so often, although everyone knows that the wheels of government turn slowly, I would contend the wheels of government in Athens turn rather quickly, but even then, a lot of times not quick enough. We did get an Ohio Department of Transportation grant that won't go into play until 2023, but it is to redo the streetscape of Washington Street, State Street, and I think it's just those two. And part of that plan is to put audible crosswalks at those intersections of Court and Washington, Court and State, but also putting it in Court and in Union. I think there is a possibility that could be accomplished much sooner with the ARPA money that the city of Athens is going to receive. That's the American Rescue Plan money. So there could be some opportunity there as well. There could also be some opportunity with the ARPA money that the city will be receiving to do other ADA improvements, pending the guidelines. But I would contend that everybody is living under the pandemic. So anything that I can do that's safety related is pandemic related right now.
Right.
I appreciate your comments, Dr. Smith. I really do. The city really has done a lot in the racial equity world that I think a lot of people don't know of or about, and are going to continue to do so. Also with our Disabilities Commission, a lot that we have in front of us yet to do on our journey. And I think that we need to certainly do a better job of getting that information out to the public as we move.
Well, I was not aware of all you'd done, so it was really great, because when people start saying Athens is doing nothing, I think you so persuasively address that, and that just needs to be touted.
Yeah. Thank you. I agree.
This is Davey. We're going to bring this up with Jessica Adine next month when we meet with her for the Accessibility Committee. One thing that we've noted in the Accessibility Committee is that when construction projects are happening, there's often not enough signage that gives you like a clear path indicator. If I want to go down Stimson right now and shop at the pharmacy or go to the bowl, whatever it is down Stimson Avenue, I don't know for sure that there's an accessible path or markers to get there. So I think that's one thing that we would like to see more of. And I guess that's more of a comment than a question now that I think about it.
Yeah, well, no, that's good. I mean, and Jessica Adine is fantastic. She's an outstanding acting director for the Engineering and Public Works Department. Stimson, just in full disclosure to everybody, Stimson is going to be a real difficult project, at least for the next several months until we get through the rebuild of the north side of the street, which is, again, the pharmacy side of the street. It troubled me all along with what they ended up having to put in the sidewalk, where they had to put Columbia Gas utilities, replace them and put new ones in. They had to replace and put other utilities in underneath that sidewalk. And I understand it, and I know it's challenging. They ended up infilling with asphalt because even that's temporary, because it'll eventually get all torn out and brand new sidewalks that are properly width and obstructions will be out of the way. It's tough, but I think to your point, as we move forward with projects, whether large or small, or even projects that aren't in the cities, that aren't city projects, I guess a good example would be the Goldsberry's building that is across from, where is it? Kind of across the street on Grosvenor, I think. Grosvenor is the street, either Grosvenor or Franklin. Grosvenor, on Carpenter Street. that, there could have been a much better job of what was required to put some kind of fencing that protects an individual when they deviate around because the sidewalk was overtaken and whatnot, to make sure that there is safe and clear passage for everybody. Yeah.
This is Diane. I noticed even the intersection where the Procoast Hotel is, and the way cars go in and out of there over the sidewalks to cross like multiple lanes to get out where they need to go. It's really dangerous. And I don't know like how you fix that now, but even having really clear ways of knowing how is the traffic going to flow when people are there, because that's a lot of people walk there. But that kind of planning, I don't know where that comes, but it impacts accessibility and safety. So that's another project that's similar.
Correct. Right. I mean, the Stimson Avenue project unto itself is probably one of the most challenging projects that the city has undertaken. Certainly the Richland Avenue pedestrian passageway, which I would claim is a massive success of deconflicting West Green, Baker Center, Porter Hall, Grover Center, and Richland Avenue. It was complicated. Richland Avenue South was certainly a complicated project, but what makes Stimson so complicated is the traffic flow on East State Street on any given day, and the fact that the right-of-way for Stimson Avenue is probably one of the narrowest right-of-ways that the city has. And so it just had multiple challenges. 2 lanes, one going straight ahead, one turning. It's a complicated intersection. So although there was a lot of planning that went into that, I have yet to see anywhere for a city, state, or national project that doesn't have mistakes in it somewhere. But we will continue to try and improve and get it better and better, and maybe someday get it 100% correct. That's our goal.
So, Mr. Mayor, this is Jay Doug. I'm not trying to sandbag you, and I didn't predetermine this question, but it just hit me. So please don't take it the way I'm about to say it, but I hope I say it right. So in the mayor's office or the city building, do we have anybody employed down there with a physical or obvious disability?
We do not. As you described it, other than me living with dyslexia, I don't know if that qualifies, but
Right. You know what I'm saying?
I do, sir. I know exactly what you're saying. And, when people apply for jobs, that doesn't get in my way. I mean, that's
right.
So no is the answer to that.
I mean, I'm not looking for quotas, but I just think it sends such a message, and I just hope, and I know you're a good person. I mean, I know that so I just hope that one day it can happen.
Agreed. No, I'm 100% behind you and understand what you're saying. You didn't sandbag me at all, we have certain, well, that's what my answer to you wasn't 100% correct. And I give a lot of credit to fans through the Board of Developmental Disabilities. Sarah Brumfield came to me in 2019, I believe it was, early in 2019, and asked if there was an opportunity for employment for an individual. And I view, we did hire an individual who worked less than 20 hours a week for the city. He was an outstanding employee. He helped keep the uptown looking beautiful, and people got to know him and knew him by name. And I have told our HR department that, once we feel safe through the pandemic and can move forward, and if Fans feels okay too, I want to go back and hire someone through that program to help the city. Absolutely.
Good.
But it's other positions too, JW. I hear what you're saying, sir. Exactly. Right. I totally hear what you're saying.
Right.
This is Davey. Yeah, I think there's, just being where we're positioned in a rural place with some definitely challenging terrain, but also just in terms of other diversity as well. Hiring people of color. I think it's difficult for agencies, but I think there's ways to do that. So yeah, I think that's something I would hope for as well.
JW, one more time, then I'm going to shut up, I promise you. But I don't speak for the whole commission, and I certainly can't speak for Davey or the execs, but I personally appreciate your support of the commission and long before you became mayor. Sometimes, though, when you are on the commission and you become mayor, it's easy to forget about where you came from. So I really appreciate your genuine support and your visible and clear, passionate support for the committee. It means a lot to me being a member.
Well, thank you. The Commission on Disabilities and, our community, of everyone has always meant a lot to me. It really has. The Commission on Disabilities has always had this special place in my heart. Having my own lived experience and knowing what stigma looks like and feels like. So yeah, I certainly do what I can and will push my political capital every time I can to do what's right.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Davey, and I think we really appreciate that as well. As we're looking forward, this is something that we'll mention in your staff department meeting on Monday. But having some more kind of like what Claire was talking about earlier was getting me thinking about how representation just matters. Having well-produced videos of people in Athens so that people can see that, can understand this is a place for people with disabilities and other diverse backgrounds, I think really, really helps. And I think having those issues as goals in the annual reports very clearly delineated so that different departments are looking at that. I think, that could really serve a number of different issues through that. Great. And I think also Scott's going to take a picture of us all to update some of our stuff. So I'd like to just go ahead and get that done before people have to drop off or anything. If everyone could put their videos on.
All right, so we'll get the view switched up here.
Rose, I haven't seen you in forever, it seems. It's great.
Now you see how long my hair has gotten with the pandemic.
You look great. You look great.
I have to call my wonderful person from Attractions who actually will come to my house and cut my hair.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful?
Good service.
All righty. So if we're all ready.
Is everyone ready for a picture?
Hold on, I'm going to sit up. Maybe that'll make it look better.
Noah, I know Noah's having some camera problems.
Yeah.
This is Arian. Dr. Smith, I was just going to make a suggestion that maybe you just back up a little bit. Maybe even slouch.
Oh, JW,
Is
yeah.
this better?
And then down
There you
about down about
You have
5
to
inches.
crouch down, right?
You can slouch. I think we'll see your face better if you.
There you go.
There you go. There you
A
go.
little bit more, a little bit more.
Good.
All right.
Cool.
All right. So I will count down to 3, 2, 1. Everybody smile. Let me check it. I think that's pretty decent.
All right.
We might need another one at some point with Carolyn too.
Oh, that's fine. And you know what I'll do is periodically I'll
Good.
I'll snap a screen grab when I think everybody's kind of looking good, and we'll continue this if we need it.
Well, here's the story on me today, guys. Okay, it turns out that I couldn't find the hairdryer, and so the left-hand side of my head looks kind of weird.
Rose, you look great.
Oh, thank you. And can you tell that the top of my head is white from once again?
I can't tell.
Right. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Oh my gosh.
Well, Rose, I grew a big old beard during COVID, and my beard unfortunately turned out to be full on gray, which was like,
Oh my God. Right, right.
of course it was. So COVID will do that to you.
So, this is Davey. Are there any maybe a last final question for Steve or a final comment?
Thank you for coming.
Go ahead, Lisa. Sorry.
It would be nice if we could make the Putt People First golf course successful one day.
Yeah, Lisa, I had a conversation. I used to be a part of, can't remember what we called ourselves, but it was with
CAT team.
What's that?
CAT?
Yeah. Thank you, Davey. And with Scott Dennis, and we'd sit there and often talked about the miniature golf. I guess you can't call it putt-putt because that's trademarked, but the miniature golf. And I remember talking with him and asking, I said, who has a good example of an accessible miniature golf? And I remember both he and I were not stumped, but it was challenged trying to figure out how to make that work, what that would look like, and still have the ability to contain a ball inside a link.
Well, one person, my son Ben, has worked with Haywire, and they've worked on the miniature golf. And so I'll ask him if he knows anybody who does that.
Maybe we can just keep it in mind. Maybe it's something for the future.
Right.
This is Davey. We did at one point, I worked with Scott on this a while back, but I found an accessible golf course design. I think it was put out by ADA Recreation Council or something like that. I'm sure I have it in my email somewhere. It's like a Word document that's like 100 pages. It shows you, accessible holes, accessible putting surface, just all kinds of stuff. That's great. But I think part of the issue is like where the land is, who would kind of manage that? Is that the best space right there? There's a lot of things to think about, but I think that would be excellent to have an accessible miniature golf.
Yeah, I do too. I know that we need to make some corrections just to get to the shelter house. Even that has some significant issues, and getting that done right. A lot of times it's as easy as making a phone call to me with an ask for different things. I was in getting my hair cut, the other day, and it was at Attractions. I'll call out where I went. And Roger in Attractions came over and said, he told me about an incident that took place on Court Street where somebody was parked across the street and was trying to get across and was struck by a car or something to that effect. And what he indicated to me is that, a lot of our clientele are older adults, and some have mobility issues. And, I told them, I said, would it help to put an ADA accessible parking space in front of your store? Because it's kind of at an interesting location. They've got the big parking lot next door, which I'd forgotten about. And, he said that would be great. And then when I left and started walking up the street and I turned to my right and look at the big parking lot sitting there, there's not one ADA parking spot in that entire parking lot. And so I'm sitting there seeing things. It's like, hey, wait a minute. You're required by law. If you've got X number of parking spaces, that you have to have X number of ADA parking spaces in there as well. So I don't know. The point I'm trying to share is that it's not difficult to blue stripe and put an ADA parking spaces in. And on the other hand, it's not rocket science and difficult for a private parking lot owner to put in what is needed as well. But to my point, you guys know full well you can reach me. I believe I'm probably one of the most accessible mayors in Southeast Ohio, if not in the entire state. So just know that you can reach me anytime you feel the need to with things that are going on.
I know how to bug you, so. I
know.
I think this is Davey. I think we all have your personal number. So we know how to get in touch. Before we end the meeting, we have a hard stop time at 6:00. Does anyone have any other announcements for the good of the order? We have an announcement from Diane.
Just a quick one. This coming Sunday is the parade in place that PassionWorks is doing in front of Zenner House. So it's from 1 to 3 on 30 Utah Place, and there's a route. If you look on Facebook on the PassionWorks site, you will see what the parade route is, and we're hoping a lot of people will come.
And you should know that I just talked to Athens Library, and so when they begin to be open again, they're willing to let us use their meeting space for our meetings or extra meetings that we have.
Oh, good. Thanks for jumping on that, Rose. I was going to follow up, so that's good. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Rose. This is Davey. Any other announcements before we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion that we adjourn.
Wasn't the city talking about moving the golf house to West State?
So, no, yeah, I think I remember that conversation as well. And we do have a 6:00 hard stop time, but let's continue the conversation about the miniature golf course. Maybe